Welcome to the Riser Virtual Cheese Awards 2025. I'm Vicky Rogerson and I'll be the moderator for this session. Today we are going to be judging E5 organic hard cheese, and we're very lucky to welcome two brilliant judges to the judging panel this year, Paul Heasman from Roquefort and Keith Kendrick from Good Food Magazine. So Paul, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, good morning. Hi, I'm Paul. I've been with Roquefort on and off for about 14 years. Spent pretty much all my working life involved in cheese in one form or another, and have no intentions of changing
Keith?
Yeah, I'm the editor of Good Food magazine. But what gives me the credentials to be here is well, I've got my own cheese fridge, which is always stocked high. But I've been a judge for about 5 years for a variety of different cheese awards, and I'm an associate with the Academy of Cheese. But I eat cheese. I take it out every day in a Tupperware. It's like pocket cheese to me, and it's just the perfect snack. So I'm passionate rather than super scientific.
Brilliant. Sounds great. So the judges today will be judging across four key attributes and scoring each one individually. So it goes from appearance, aroma, texture, and flavour. And flavour is double weighted, so taste of the cheese is always going to give a higher priority. So we'll go through each of the individual cheeses and judge them accordingly. So on that note, the first cheese we'll be judging is 1129. That one, yes.
that. Okay.
So we're going to start with appearance, are we?
Appearance,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. There's a nice tight curd on it. There's lots of calcium lactate crystals in there, which is always exciting to see on a cheese of this style.
Yeah, they're really popping out, aren't they?
Yeah.
You can really
Yeah,
see
really
them.
prominent.
You're going to dive in there and get.
Visible on the can particularly, but they're quite visible. Um, The rind's nice and clean, and it's quite thin as well, which is nice. It looks like it's a plastic coat rind.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It's a plastic
the
coat.
kind of appeal of that.
But no, very nice to compare. I've lost a little bit on my nose, but I think that's the risk you take with pieces of cheese, isn't it? So no, I think on appearance wise, I think it's very good. There's no obvious defaults or cracks or fissures.
And
Um,
it's got a really buttery golden yellow about it as well.
yeah, it
It's
is. Yeah,
really
it is.
kind of
Golden's a good word for it.
yeah, it kind of speaks to the countryside.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so visually it's singing all the right notes.
Vicky,
What's
should we mark as we go, or should we tot up at the end? What's the way to?
I think I prefer to mark as we go. So each attribute, then you mark and then you get to the end if that's
Right.
how you want to work.
Okay, and we agree. What's your mark for the appearance, Paul?
I would give it a 9. I mean, I'd mark it down a little bit because I've lost a bit on the nose, and there's a little bit of free moisture, but it has been vacuumed. So no, I think for me it's a hearty 9.
I'm happy with that. I think it's absolutely
Nine.
to look at. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then aroma.
Slice of gold.
Mm.
Oh my God, that is so it's so deep and rich and complex. I think that's kind of rich toffee-ish as well
Yeah.
on the nose.
Yeah, it has that sort of caramel toffee notes, as you say.
It
Yeah.
smells like a Werther's
Fresh.
original that my granddad used to, but God rest his soul, although he did die about 60 years ago, so that's not a tragedy anymore. I really like that. It's quite heady, isn't it? It's quite aromatic. It's kind of quite
Yeah,
kind of quite filling of the passages of the sinuses. It's a technical term.
but it's sweet caramel toffee, very clean. There's no off notes in there at all. So again, it's very appealing, and it really wants you makes you want to start tasting it. So again, I'd score it very highly on aroma. It's got a real high appeal factor to it based on that. So for me, I'd go
Wondering
top.
why we would take a point off it, because I just think it's so so attractive. It's
Yeah,
just kind of enticing.
yeah, no,
I don't know what we
draws
would
you
take a
in.
mark up for.
Yeah, but I love those. They're very distinct, those caramel toffee notes, and yeah, I like that. I think they're drawing me in to try it. You know, for an aroma, I'd say it's top marks. There's
Yeah, me too.
even on the rind where it's stronger, there's no off notes or anything. It's very
I like your word sweet. It actually, if sweet is a smell, this smells
yeah.
sweet.
Yes, yeah. No, so I mean, for me, I'd give it top marks on
Yep.
aroma. There's nothing to say there's anything off there at all.
So what score? 10?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, yeah, I just as soon as I smelt it, I thought, wow, it wasn't, it wasn't overly strong, but immediately it was there. It filled, it filled your senses, and immediately it was all, very good. Like I say, those quite sweet toffee type notes. It was, yeah, really enticing.
Should
Do you
we
agree with
we'll break off? Sorry, Vicky.
do you agree with that 10?
I do. I think it's
We have a
wonderful.
bell, didn't we? Got a 10.
Ding, 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 ding. So let's break into the texture. Is it brittle? Is it bendy? It's a little bit oily inside, actually.
Break a piece off rather than cut it. Yeah, there's a bit of free moisture inside, isn't there? Yeah. So
It's more brittle and flaky than I was expecting.
yeah, yeah. It sort of fractures, doesn't it? But then that may not be a bad thing as such. I think how it holds together when you cross a portion, really.
I'm going to see if it balls. This
Yeah.
term of
Together well, you
it
can
together,
portion it.
and it's kind of breaking up in the fingers. I don't think the texture is as high scoring for me as we've had with the first two categories.
Yeah, I think the thing that's surprising me about is the amount of free moisture that's in there.
Yeah.
Again, the actual, it's a nice close curd, and the
I'm
cap
going to go 7 on the
very
texture.
Sorry, Keith.
I'm going to go 7 on the texture. I'm eating it. It's so sorry. I shouldn't be eating it yet.
That's fine.
You can't eat it because if we do texture, I think you have to do texture
Yeah.
and texture at the same time because
It's got tremendous mouthfeel. Those crystals really kind of stay behind once you swallow, and again, I give that kind of saltiness, that salinity on the tongue. I think it's but we'll get to flavour. Texture is a 7 for me.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I think the level of moisture in it is distracting from it really, and when you feel the curd, it's really the moisture you're feeling rather than the actual curd itself. That's the first thing you really notice. So yeah,
Should we go on to
I'm happy to agree with that.
flavour?
taste. Very good.
I think the flavour is absolutely outstanding. This is my kind of pocket cheese. It's just
Pocket cheese.
So you get the crunch from the cashew tape, which is
very right.
always a pleasure. It's got a sweetness, then a savouriness comes through. Most sort of brothy savouriness comes through.
Yep.
And caramel notes, caramel toffee notes.
Yeah, it's got that kind of stock cubiness, hasn't it?
Yeah, yes, there's a sweetness there and a herbiness. It's quite complex. I think
some of these sweeter cheeses can be quite harsh. They can be quite raw in the back of the throat. I don't think this has any harshness. I think it's really smooth all the way through, but it keeps revealing itself as it goes down.
Yeah, it's a nice long flavour. It's carrying on working. I think it's clean. I think it's well rounded. There's a little bit of acidity comes through on the end, which I like.
So, it's getting the older eustachian tubes going as well.
Yeah,
with drool factor to this. I think we started off on a brilliant cheese here. I really enjoy it.
Started on a high.
And even though it's a very crumbly, loose texture, you're not left with lots of bits in your mouth and your palate. It's very clean. But as you say, it doesn't have any of that sort of burn at the back of the throat you sometimes get.
I want to keep eating it, but I know we've got another 15 to go, so
that's the trouble.
But should we give this one?
Yeah. Again, I would score it highly. I think it's, as I say, I think it's balanced, it's rounded, it's got the sweetness and the savouriness. Um, it's got a lot of things I'd probably expect from that style of cheese. There's a little bit of salt, but it's not overly salty. So, I'd happily score it high again.
Me too. I'd be happy with a 9 on the flavour.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
wonderful. Really,
yeah.
really
No,
good.
I'm happy to go with that.
So we got a big hitter to kick off with. That's
Yeah.
Should we just go home now, Vicky?
Yes, we do.
But there's no there's nothing in there to suggest there's any off notes or anything. It's yeah, yeah.
Okay. So the next cheese is 1171.
1171. Okay, here we are.
Oh, Debris.
It's another interesting looking cheese, isn't it? You see that? You can almost see through it.
Yeah.
And then on the rind, I don't quite know what that is. It's quite dusty. Is it ash? I guess we'll find out. But the coating, the rub. Paul, what we're going to call this? Is it a rub? Is it a coating? What is that?
A coating for me, yeah, yeah. This has been added on. So yeah, coating. So
I mean, that's giving it its curb appeal.
yeah,
The actual thing, it's the cheese itself, the paste itself. It's very consistent. It's very white throughout.
yeah. I'd say it's quite pale. But again, there's no flaws in there at all. Any marks on it are really left from the fact that again it's been clean filmed, so there's quite a few little ridges on here, but that's the cause. Um, the coating is it's fairly even. Looks like it's been fairly maybe even hand applied. It's thicker in some bits, but I don't mind that. It gives it a bit more of a rustic look, really.
Yeah, it's almost like it's been dabbed on.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, my piece is a little bit rubbed onto the actual face, but I think that's probably where it's been handled and cut. So, yeah, no, it's interesting. I think it's on account of that would certainly pop out as well, wouldn't it? I think, as you say, it's got good visual appeal. Makes
Have
you
you got more coating on yours, Keith, than you have yours, Paul? It looks like Keith's got quite
right
a lot of coating and yours has not got as much.
on the coating.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that Keith's looks kind of very dark and yours
all
doesn't.
right. So, well,
Yeah,
mine's
what
lighter on
happens
one
on
side
yours,
than the
Paul?
other, which makes me suspect. All right, we
Is it the right cheese you've got? 1171, because they look very different.
I think you might have 7-4 there, Keith.
Okay, that's me done. I can't actually do this. I can't read numbers. Right, so let's go to 1171, shall we? We can cut that bit. What I find interesting about this is the coating. It's the orange rind. It's pale and consistent throughout. It doesn't have any kind of ashy kind of things on it, unlike the other one. Um, it's just a very, you know, lovely. It's an unthreatening looking cheese, isn't it? It's just looks a very pleasant thing.
Sort of thing on a counter that might appeal to kids as well.
Yeah,
Bit of colour to it. But again, there's no with my piece. There's no faults. As I say, the coating, is thicker in places than others. But I know that's just if it's been hand applied, then and I quite like the more rustic look of that rather than it being just one solid colour all over.
yeah, it is. It's got
Yeah,
different kind of hues.
yeah.
The orange.
But yeah, I think sitting on a counter that would look quite pretty and pop out. So
What's give it for appearance?
I'm gonna say 7 for the appearance.
And agree, Paul?
yeah, I mean, I was gonna go 8, but
I'll go 8 if
yeah,
feel that. It's very
Yeah,
consistent. It's very
yeah,
uniform
yeah.
right across it. Okay,
Okay.
8. Yeah,
Yep, and on to aroma.
So the aroma is just that very sort of it smells that when you go into a dairy and you smell the warm curds in the vat. I don't know if you've experienced that, Keith, but it's that sort of aroma to me. That
yeah,
when you sort of first walk into a dairy when they're actually making cheese.
yeah. It's a kind of it reminds me. I've made mozzarella before, and it reminds me of that kind of very
Okay, yeah, yeah,
clean, sort of fresh
yeah,
kind of smell.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's pleasant. There's nothing wrong with it. It's but it's not a milky flavour aroma as such. It's not what I would
Right?
describe as a lactic aroma, but
Yeah.
I like it. And if you're not been into a cheese dairy, probably you can't make that analogy, um, but it is clean and fresh, and again, appealing. There's nothing there to say, yeah, oh, that's a bit strange or weird. And
I would say that this is a cheese that is safe to take on public transport.
yes. Yeah, it's not gonna.
You say it's not powerful, it's not threatening. It's kind of you've got to really, really, inhale to get any aroma from it. It is there, but it's
Yeah,
the thing that is defining the cheese.
yeah. I'd just like to have a bit more sort of a lactic aroma to it, in amongst what it's got. But again, I'd happily score it an 8 again. I think it's clean.
If it's the 8-4, that's what it's supposed to be doing, I guess. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I mean, there's all hearts of guys, so yeah, youngish cheese as well. So texture,
Texture. I'm gonna kind of go for the bed, like that asparagus thing when it kind of like snaps at its weak
yeah,
point. See where
yeah.
I'm going with this. A nice and a really nice, clean,
So it's
very,
smooth, creamy.
very smooth. Yeah,
Yeah,
it almost peels apart rather than breaks apart.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It doesn't fracture or crumble but again, it's not sticky. It's holding together,
No,
but
it's not. It's a very
not sticky between the fingers. So
give that. And there's no oiliness in here in the
no,
balling.
no, no. And I think it is a younger cheese. I think it's designed to be like that, really. So again, I'll give it probably a 9 for texture. I think the texture is really good.
Okay.
I'd be put off if it was sort of sticking to my fingers, but it's not. It's easy.
Yeah, and it's not leaving any residue oil there, other than
Yeah.
like you shouldn't be rolling cheese like this before you pop it in your mouth. But it's a lovely
Really,
thing, that is it.
really.
If you coated that in chocolate, you would have a whole new confection and would have been millionaires. In fact, that's a great idea. Should we do that, Vicky?
Your next
I haven't tried it.
editorial.
Cheese chocolates.
Cheese chocolates. God, that's just
Once you warm it up a little bit as well, you get more of the sort of lactic aromas coming through.
you suggested last night, Paul, taking these out of the fridge an
Mm.
hour before. Great advice because everything's been allowed to breathe.
Yeah,
And this looks like a very almost it's going to have no um, impact at all. But I think being out of the fridge, if it was cold, we wouldn't get any of this complexity coming through. But it's a real mouth coater. It's very, as you said before, it's very daring. It really tastes of the of the process rather than the farmyard, if that makes sense.
yeah.
It tastes of the milk, it tastes of the curd.
It's very clean. It's very creamy. Yeah, you do get more lactic coming through on the taste. And
I think it's
I
also
think
very balanced as well.
yeah,
There's no big hits of salts. There's no hits of kind of harsh sweetness. It's just
yeah,
really balanced and clean and fresh and very, very lovely.
yeah. And it is a nice balance between sort of some sweetness and a little bit of savouriness as well. Um,
Yeah,
and I think it's a good all-rounder cheese, I think, because I think visually and taste wise, that's going to appeal to everyone in the family, kids, adults.
Where do you think this belongs? On, is it on a cheese board? Is it chopped onto salad? Is it in a sandwich? Is it just on a cracker, or is it with some chutney, or maybe some figs, or what's its kind of place in the lexicon?
Yeah, that's a good question. For me, this is a sort of an all-rounder cheese. I think you could do pretty much all of those things with it. Visually it'd be good on the cheese board, but I think like you say, to mix it in with salads and things. Yeah, I think it'd be a good all-rounder really. So I think as a cheese, there's there's a lot of versatility to this. It's got quite a wide consumer appeal, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think chopped up and mixed in with a salad as a side at a barbecue, it would just be, it just really kind of
Yeah,
gives that kind of freshness, and but it's got that creaminess as well, hasn't it? It's really,
yeah,
really long and creamy. It's lovely.
yeah. So whilst it's not a strong flavour, I'd still score it, highly because it's clearly not designed to, give a punch or, a massive wow factor. But I think it is just a really good stable cheese that delivers a good consistent flavour.
I'd be happy with 9 on this if you
Yeah,
are.
I'd go 9 again, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
Right, I'm going to pick up the correct cheese next.
1174. Just check.
Oh, what a surprise!
Yeah, we've got to pretend this is the first time you've seen it. So, so it's quite a similar looking cheese in the actual paste of the cheese,
Yeah.
but a very, very different coating. Um,
So, what do you think this coating is, Paul? It's because it's quite.
yeah, I think until we get a chance to smell it and taste it, I won't really be 100% sure. But
Yeah, we'll do that in the aroma stage. But
yeah,
visually, the paste is clean, but the interest comes from the coating.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah, and it's quite loose on the surface, so that's why we've got it coming across onto the face of the cheese. But uh, for me personally, that's not a massive issue. Um, but yeah, it's quite firm. It's almost a bit sort of grainy in texture.
Yeah, it's quite bouncy, isn't it?
Yeah, um, but again, I think it's really interesting looking. It just depends how much flavour it's got and whether it's going to overpower the actual taste of the cheese. But clearly, some sort of herbs or seaweed or something of that nature.
Yeah, what is that?
Um, I mean,
Visually, what we're giving it visually, I'm not blown away by the visual of it, impact of it. I would say a 7 more than higher.
yeah, so I think mine's it's a little bit patchy in places. I don't know if you could see, I can actually see my screen, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
we can. Yeah.
Um, and getting onto the face of the cheese may put some people off. So, yeah, I think a 7 would be good.
Okay.
So aroma that comes from this herby coating, which I'm trying to identify because it's not pepper. Is it seaweed? Is it oregano? Is it myrtle? I don't know.
It's got quite a sort of well, I want to say irony, but I don't know if that's a real, it's like a
It's quite pungent.
yeah. I mean, for me, you mentioned seaweed. That's what I'm getting really. There is a
It smells bitter.
but the more I smell it, the more I get. Or maybe I just planted the seed in my mind, but the more sort of seashore I think of.
Yeah.
It's different. It's unusual.
It certainly is. It's got, yeah, it's a bitterness to me, and I'm just trying to think what that
Yeah,
can.
and we'll see if that comes through in the flavour.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's unusual, but not in a bad way. Unusual. It's a bit intriguing, really, because what I want to do now is to taste it. So it's drawing me into wanting to taste it for sure.
It's probably a cheese that my wife, who doesn't like cheese, would go for because she likes bitter flavors,
Yeah,
like coffee, you know, and it's got those on the nose anyway, those bitter notes. I want to know what these herbs are or this coating is. And I should.
in terms of scoring for aroma, it's without knowing what it is, it's a bit difficult really. I just find it different and unusual. I don't find it offensive.
You're smelling the coating. You're not really smelling the cheese, are you? Because the
Yeah.
coating is the thing
Yeah,
that dominates.
yeah. So I'd go 7 again. As I say, it's not off-putting.
Yeah. Okay.
But the more I pick it up, obviously, the more of it is coming off the cheese. But yeah.
So
Next.
texture quite bouncy. Going to go for the break. And wow, look at how it really goes. Takes a long time to get there. That word, Paul, it doesn't fracture. It kind of. It's.
I'm going to taste a bit without the coating first, and then.
It's quite a bouncy, springy texture. Very, very malleable. Reminds me a bit of a halloumi in the way that it breaks down. It's got that springiness about it.
I think springy is a good way to describe it actually. No texture in the mouth. It's got quite a nice mouthfeel, but yeah, it's not as firm. It's
All's
I'm
nice.
actually wondering whether it is cow's milk actually, but it's quite pale, and because of the texture, whether
Deep,
But again, there's nothing wrong with the texture. It's clearly not designed to be a firm cheese. It looks as though it's designed to be a semi-soft cheese. So
I really like the texture. I really like it in my mouth.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd go 9 on texture. I think I can't really.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Now I want to get the experience of, because I've just tried it without the coating, and it's I think it's very creamy, very sort of kind of double cream. It's got more citrus about it than just dairy.
Yeah, there is there's a little bit of fruitiness in there, like I say, with citrus. There's a little acidic, but not overly acidic. I don't think it is cow's milk. I think it's probably sheep's milk.
It reminds me of a Mediterranean cheese.
Okay. I'll try the rind now.
It's such an interesting experience when you have the cheese with the rind. God, it really comes together. I think it's lovely. Could it be nettles, dried nettles?
It may be, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a saltiness coming from it. Quite high saltiness coming from it that's building up. But it doesn't overpower the cheese itself.
I think saltiness really complements the sort of the lactic fruity creaminess of the rest of the paste. It's very balanced.
Yeah. But but that saltiness again is reminding me of the sea rather than a sort of table salt.
Yeah.
You do wonder if it is it is a seaweed.
Or buckthorn, or something like that.
Yeah. I think it's a really nice balance of flavors. I can imagine that visually some people might look at this and get put off by it. Some people might think it's going to have a really powerful flavour, which it hasn't. It's not overpowering. I can imagine some people might even think there's that's some sort of pepper on there or something. It's going to be quite pungent, but it's actually pleasantly mild and balanced for me.
Yeah.
So it's delivering flavour, but it's not blowing your socks off. But it makes you want to go back for more actually.
I take cheeses to the pub every weekend to share with my mates, and you know, some of them are kind of just eating as we are chatting, but some are just kind of like they just stop you in the tracks, and then you start talking about the cheese. This is one
Yeah,
of these. I think this is a conversation starter.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because until you read the label, I don't think you're going to know what the answer is.
No, I'd like to give it a 9 for the flavour though.
Yeah, no, me too. I really, really like it.
A 9. Great.
Mm. It's one of those ones because you just want to go back and keep trying it, which
Nibbling, keep nibbling.
I'm resisting because I'm looking at how many others I've got in front of me, and if they're all, you know, if they're all going to carry on in this vein, I think we've got to.
I want to know what it is on the coating on the outside.
Morning, how are you getting on?
Doing, we've had some
Hello, how
really,
you
really good
doing?
starters here, Sarah. Really good.
Oh,
You
That's-
know, every time I join, people are saying how fantastic the cheese is.
Mm.
So obviously we've got some fantastic
Yeah.
cheeses in this year.
yeah. So we're thinking this is potentially seaweed.
Do you think it is?
But also
Wow.
saying it's one of those ones until you get to read the label, you're never really going to be 100% sure. But
Yeah,
it's lovely. It's intriguing and it's a lovely flavour as well. So
I'm sure there's a super taster out there that would identify it straight away, but
yeah,
Yeah.
we're a little bit stumped. We've gone from seaweed to dried nettles to, you know, maybe some peppery thyme, oregano. We're not
Wow.
quite sure, but it's quite bitter, and it really complements the citric acidity of the paste itself. So it's wonderful.
Right, so we're going to do 1175.
okay.
Just check the labels, Keith.
Yes, I've got my number glasses on now. Oh wow, this is interesting, isn't it?
All right. So this is some form of petals.
Petals.
Look at this for
Yeah.
interest.
Oh, yeah.
It's very
It's got a
We'll
nice
get some
colour.
good shots of that.
It's very Chelsea flower show, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's been done nicely on the.
Flowers are in, I think, actually.
It's like they've not coated the bottom, but then I guess that's not really such an issue. It's going to sit like that. But that's quite pretty. So
It's crying out for a glass of Pimm's.
yeah.
It kind of needs that, doesn't it?
So it's a nice sort of it's not saffron, but it's a nice saffrony coloured petals in there. Some red ones, some darker green ones. Well, it's just been spoiled by the fact it's just been wrapped. I'm sure when it's first made, it's much brighter than that. And
I think it's interesting that the stamen or whatever it is of the flower has gone right into the cheese as well.
yeah,
It's not just kind of coated; it's actually been part of the process. It's really fundamental part of it, not just dabbed on the outside. Really penetrates the rind, the cheese from the rind. This has got fabulous curb appeal,
yeah,
remark appeal, and it just looks like it's just made for a summer's day, a picnic with interior designers and flower arrangers. They'd be happy with this.
Well, it's very fresh. It's a top tier of cheese wedding cake or something.
That's exactly what it should be. This is the kind of if it was called a cherry, it would be the one on the cake.
But yeah, so again, visually, I mean, it's someone's dragged through onto the face when it's been cut, the looks of it. But I would imagine it's very hard to avoid that.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because it isn't a look that I would go for because I would see it as a cheese that is for the masses, and I'm a massive snob. So I think it looks more like it's a cheese for marketing and for getting out there and getting everybody to talk about, and it'd be all over Instagram. For me,
Yeah,
I would go, yeah, but what does it taste like? But
yeah.
we'll get to that. But we'll get to
I
that.
found.
We're now going to find out, aren't we?
Yeah.
So what's
You
your
can,
score appearance then?
So I think visually it's. I mean, I think it's lost some of its brightness. I would suspect through being packed, which is a shame. But but and it's quite mine's a bit patchy as well. So I would go at 8 for the piece I've got in front of me.
I'd like to go 9
Okay.
because I just think it's got wow factor and
Yeah.
people will talk about it.
Yeah.
Whether this ends up as a really high scoring one depends on the next 3 categories. But in terms of remarkability, in terms of what is that, I've got to try that. I think it's a 9.
Okay, no, I'm happy to go with that.
Really?
So your piece.
You meet in the middle if you want, do 8.5. It's up to you.
No,
Well,
I've agreed with Paul too many times. He's going to agree with me now. So let's
That's
let's go 8.5 then if halves are allowed.
half are allowed.
Okay.
Yeah, 9.
Sizes. Okay, so now we are smelling.
Yeah, so I've got my initial hit is exactly the same as the previous one. Actually, it's that aroma of sort of warm curd sitting in the dairy.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And what did we give that? I think that was an 8, wasn't it?
7.
7.
Yeah.
Because it's not remarkable. It doesn't have any.
No,
Sarah, we just said about the previous cheese. It's a cheese you could take on public transport and nobody would know. Whereas our very first cheese, you basically would just go walking through a forest on your own and everybody would avoid you. So
Ned Palmer yesterday used the word shy. It's got a shy aroma.
shy, yeah.
Shy. That was quite cute.
Yeah.
Not,
It's
not over the top.
self-effacing.
Yeah.
there's no real aroma coming from the petals themselves.
There is or there isn't.
Not particularly. No, I think it does. The aroma does dull down as you get more towards the rind, but then it's not exchanged for any that's coming from the flowers.
You would expect some kind of floral notes
Yeah.
about it. Maybe
Yeah.
that comes through in the taste, but it's not there on the like the cheese we had, which was either seaweed or nettles or thyme or whatever. You know, that was a very, very pronounced bitterness. This it's kind of fir coat and an absence of something else at the moment.
But I think we should score it the same as the previous one because that's the predominant thing I'm getting from it on aroma. So
There's 7.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so texture. I'm going to do the snap. Like the bend. When does it go? Well, the tension. The tension. Oh my word.
So so there is some free moisture inside this one actually.
And look at this. This is actually inside the cheese.
Okay. So it's quite soft, breaks down very easily, but again holds together. There's no but yeah.
It's got that salady rubberiness about it, hasn't it? That bendability, that springiness. It doesn't crack. It peels, and you're getting all the the little stamens of flowers here. What do they taste like? Yeah, there's some florality. Is florality a word? Sounds like it should be a word.
It is now.
You can make it into a word.
Yeah,
You're an editor, you're allowed to.
I can do what I want with words. I'm kind of and I'm assembling it in a way that somebody at the Chelsea Flower Show would like to display this. And this is your new rock garden made of cheese. Let's hope the weather stays cold because it could be a bit messy. Texture wise, I think it's up there, Paul, like the previous one. Maybe it's a 9.
Yeah. It's got that sort of waterloo type texture to it.
Yeah. Do
So
some
creamy breaks
balling.
down.
There's no oiliness coming out of here. It's quite squidgy, malleable. Breaking apart a little bit. I don't think it's not getting as bally as the other one, so maybe a little bit less than that. I think an 8, would you say, for texture?
Yeah.
And the all-important taste. Are you going, Paul? Are you going with the paste first and then trying it with the rind? Like
I did, yeah. So paste first is quite acidic, but not overly so. But it was the first sort of thing I got really. It was acidity, citrusy.
I'm feeling like I've got my fingers running through wildflowers by a mountain, an English country stream. That's it. I'm surprised by how floral and quite grassy it is as well. I don't know why I'm surprised, because it's full of flowers, so it should taste like
Yeah.
that. But
Once you get into when you get into the rind, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. It's transformative once you get into the rind.
So the actual paste is also floury then, guys, is it?
it's got the flowers running through just coming in from the rind into the paste, and it carries through the cheese. It's not like you've got bland cheese and pronounced rind. It's consistent from the rind throughout, just
Wow.
pronounced on the outside. But I think that kind of floralness, florality, floral fauna-ish is going all the way through. It's wonderful mouthfeel. Really, really.
I find the aftertaste I find is a bit bitter, but again I'll be tempered by you on that because I know I've got a bitter sensitive palate. So
Yeah, I'm getting that. I don't find it unpleasant, but I know
yeah.
it's got that kind of. It's like hints of myrtle at the back of it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a shame really because I find it a little bit off-putting that that's the aftertaste that comes through. But up to that point, I thought it was really interesting. I was just sitting there, mulling over all sorts of thoughts and words about it really, and and I think it is just a really nice. If you're eating it blind, you wouldn't know. You'd have to see it, but once you see what it is, you make that connection with those really herbaceous floral sort of notes, and I think it's quite a clever little cheese actually.
yeah, but I think, as you said there, with that bitterness at the end, which kind of
Yeah,
took you aback a little bit.
yeah.
Maybe we're in 8,
Yeah, I was
7.5.
going to say I would only drop it down to that's already an 8 for me. I think everything else keeps it.
Yeah, okay. I'm happy with the 8.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, interesting. I like that. I'll be looking out for that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Saving some of these bits to take up to the guys afterwards.
Did you get our scores there, Vicky?
And what was it for taste?
You said
Yeah,
A 10?
8.
Eight.
Eight.
Yeah, yeah. It's got that sort of bitter end note to it, which was a little bit.
Okay. So the next one is 1216. That's the last one of this round.
Right. Well, so much firmer cheese. 1216. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, this one wants to dominate the room, doesn't it? It is a
Yeah.
strong, robust, powerful looking. It looks like it's been in the gym, and it's going. Look at me and my muscle.
So the coating. I mean, it's really nicely evenly
Beautiful.
coated. So you got some sort of hay or straw or grasses on the outside, and then you've got the mold growing through that sort of white growing mold, actually growing through the straw and herbs. So a bit more age on this one. Bit firmer cheese.
It just looks like the countryside, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just looks
Fantastic.
again.
It's like a barn.
Yeah, it's beautifully evenly coated.
Yeah. Are these seeds or grasses? What is this?
For me, they're grasses. I would say.
Yeah.
I can't see you. I'm sort of focusing now, but I can't see what I would describe as actual seeds in there. It is more grasses really.
Yeah, just little flecks of grass and hay, like you say.
But the
God, it's so well.
nice even though it's there's a lot going on with the rind, it's nice and thin all the way round.
Yeah, look how even it is all the way round.
Yeah. No, it's
That's its absolute prime, isn't it?
well crafted piece of cheese. Visually, there's no cracks or fissures or faults or anything. I mean, it's a bang on 10 for me visually.
Wow.
Yeah. So the other day where you can see Sarah, but it's coated in the grasses, but it's such a lovely thin rind all the way around, and
Looks beautiful, doesn't it?
I think that's a 10 all day long. I think it's absolutely gorgeous.
Not fissure or crack in the paste.
Great.
Piece of art, isn't it?
Yeah, bark is a great word for it.
Yeah. Yes, it's got that. Yeah, that sort of textural. I like the colour as well. It's but with the mould starting to grow through it as well. Those sort of white grey moulds coming through.
It just looks like a cheese that defines kind of wild countryside to me.
Yeah.
Should we do a smell test?
So aroma for me, it's such a rich aroma. It's
Rich.
cellars and fields and grass
And beer. It's like it reminds me of beer,
it's a bit hoppy.
fermented beer, beer barrels.
Yeah. But it's just so intriguing and interesting, and it's quite strong, but it's not punchy or overpowering. You just know it's there, but it's really intriguing. You want to keep coming back to it.
I think that aroma is
a little bit of
it kind of has a bit of sort of treacliness about it, almost like molasses, because it's got that rich depth to it as well. I'm just getting lots of kind of fermented.
I just keep going back to it. I'm a bit obsessed now.
Yeah, I want to do 10 as well on that.
Yeah. It just evokes being out walking through a farm and all the different smells you get, putting aside the cows, all the different smells you get through walking through it. So you go near the silage clamps, and it's got those sort of bits to it, and you get out into the fields, and it's
the perfect ploughman's.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Eat that like an apple. That is amazing.
Do that again, please. Take a picture.
Did we do a photo?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. Go on then. Bite it. Or you still bite it?
He's got to chew. He bit off more than he can chew.
It's like a perfect ploughman's.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
Bit of fruit and a jug of cider and you're well away.
The texture it's very creamy.
Yeah.
Very mouthfeeling.
Yeah, it feels very creamy in the hand, but it's a little bit softer than I was expecting.
It is softer. It's kind of
when you're doing that, it feels
a bouncy thing. It's not got that kind of fracture. There's no salt crystallization in there. It is. Oh my god! Why have I had 2 bites of that? It's just glorious. There is a little bit of a bitterness there, but I'd like that bitterness. I don't think that's off-putting. I think it's really complementary to the cheese. It tastes of the countryside. It tastes of the farmyard. It tastes of the animal. It's
so again, all the flavors just take you through that wander through a farm.
What's your score for texture?
It's a little bit softer as expected, but there's nothing wrong with it. It was very creamy, breaks down very nicely, both in the hand and in the mouth. So again,
It is a lot softer.
Yeah, there's no
Yep,
fracturing,
absolutely
but
right.
yeah, but if that's how it's designed to be, you know,
Exactly.
I can't, I can't really fault the texture. It's for me, it would be a 10. There's nothing really um that puts me off it at all.
There's no oiliness in there. There's no
No, the
no
curds
hold, there's
break
no
down the whole thing.
breakdown. It's all completely, the texture's
Yeah,
consistent all the way
moisture on
through.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going 10 again. Are we allowed to do spinal taps on these things?
Yeah.
No, to 11.
Crank it up to 12. The flavour's quite punchy, but it's really rounded, and again, it's just it's a real voyage. It's got fruitiness. It's got the sort of like yeah, the taste of how good silage smells.
Silage is a great word. That's exactly what's coming through.
But in a positive way,
Yeah,
rather.
yeah. But it is. It's that kind of. It's
Yeah,
that fermenting hay, isn't it? You know, it's when you walk through the pastures, you get that taste.
yeah. Then you get some floral notes as well. A little bit of lactic notes. There's a very tiny hint of acidity on the end.
But it's very robust as well. It's kind of got a lot of umami in there, like
Yeah,
the
yes,
the,
yeah.
the sort of the brothy quite meatiness.
And I see what you mean about the bitterness, but in this instance, for me, it's not an off-putting bitterness.
So
It's
it's part of the balance. It's
part of
part
the
of the
balance
balance.
of it. Yeah, yeah.
You've got sweet
Mm.
hints of, you've got salt hints of, you've got umami and that brothiness, which is the dominant thing, the savouriness. But then you know it all comes together, and the bitterness is just a little kind of tinge at the end of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it doesn't linger. It's just, as I say, it's just part of the flavour journey, really. So no,
Cracking.
it's such an interesting, well-rounded cheese, and if that's representative of how it always is, then I will. Once I know what it is, I'll be adding it to my shopping list.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
So what score are you giving it for taste then?
I'm going 10 on taste.
10 on that. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It-
Cool.
it's just one of those.
Scores. Full marks.
Was it full? Did we do?
Yeah, 10, 10, 10.
Okay, yeah, but it's one of those ones where you know you do things like great taste awards and things, and you taste lots of different things, and then suddenly you get there'll be one where just immediately it almost evokes a different set of emotions, if you like, when you start looking at it and tasting it. You just it just takes you to that next level, which is yeah, really.
Yeah, and I think with some things, you're looking to find a flaw, so as an excuse to take a mark off.
Yeah.
And what would we take a mark off here? There is nothing that
No, there's a little
you would take a mark off.
pagan drag through onto the face, but then we're not taking marks off all that. So yeah. No, I think it's just every time the more I look at it, like I say, even the rind, just the thickness of the rind all the way round, it's that takes a lot of skill to keep doing that consistency and
The only thing I would say about this category, and this shoot me if it's controversial, is the cheeses that we've tasted. I wouldn't say they're hard. I would say the first was. It's kind of like quite a cooked cheese, but the others they're quite bouncy.
So they're kind of semi-hard.
Yeah, well, that one's so that one this is semi-hard because you can squish it if you give it a go, but these are verging more on sort of semi-soft, if you like. But I guess it's always hard to place things really.
Maybe we need to say hard and semi-hard then, because
yeah,
food for thought. Thank you.
but then where do you stop?
Yeah.
We can't have too many classes really.
Yeah.
Right, so that's the end of that round. So that one was the winning cheese for full score, 45 out of 45, and that was E51216. And in second place was the first cheese, E51129, and the third placing cheese was 1171.
Cool.
So thank you. So thank you, judges, for your time.
Give me that again, Vicky. That I was interrupted there by somebody.
So the first winning cheese is 1216, E51216.
Yeah.
The second place was the first one you did, which was 1129.
Yeah, it was the Gouda style. Yeah.
And the third place was 1171.
That was the one which we think maybe seaweed. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah. No, that winning one, that's going back to my desk purely for my consumption. I'm not sharing that one.
So we've got 1216 was
Um,
first.
I'll just wrap up and then we can stop. Thank you for your time. So just so everyone knows, the winning cheese from this class will go into the category final, which is be on the 10th of June. And then the winning cheese from those finals will go into our Supreme final, which is on the 11th of June, which is all going to be live on our YouTube, Facebook, and on our website. I just want to thank Butlers for their lovely aprons and also for Millers. Bisque Crackers for supporting our cracker sponsor this year, which is brilliant crackers. So thank you for your time and we'll see you next time. Thanks then.
Thank you.